Hello everybody, how is it going? It is your boy, Poseidon. Welcome back to the official Poseidon YouTube channel. Today we are finishing a series that I have been greatly anticipating the finale of, and that is the Space Nazis series. The novel AI-generated Space Nazis series, a true Shakespearean epic that will never be matched by any piece of media in history. There will be no narrative that will ever top this one. For context, you guys should probably watch my last two videos on the subject, but basically novel AI is like a writer's assistance tool that uses AI to generate based on prompts, and it can do some really ridiculous stuff, let me tell you. And you'll see if you watch my last two videos, which, again, go check them out. And please, do be sure to like and subscribe, comment, share the video, whatever, because this is actually my second time recording this. I failed to record properly the first time, so you guys had better give this attention. I am gonna be so mad if you don't. I'm just kidding, of course, you guys can do whatever you want, but please enjoy the video and let's get into it. This is the final part of the epic trilogy. The Nazis, having conquered Jupiter and obliterated the moon of Ganymede, have now conquered almost all of Earth, with only a few countries such as Russia and Luxembourg continuing to fight. It's up to Admiral Halsey and General Almeida of Earth, along with Princess Diana, to find a way to take down Hitler once and for all. Yes, Princess Diana is in the story, don't ask questions, just watch my previous videos. Emperor Victor of Ganymede and General Maelstrom of the Ganymede Liberation Army are also helping. The Allies must make their move soon before they're completely overrun by the Nazis. Meanwhile, on Venus. Now that you mention it, I have been feeling kind of weak lately, said the Empress Dowager, sitting in her throne room. The other members of the imperial court were gathered around her. They had come to discuss what needed to be done about the current situation. Everyone was worried about her, but she didn't want them to know that she was secretly pregnant. Every time, these AI narrative tool generator things, you know, they always do this. They make characters pregnant out of nowhere. It's such a weird trend. It's not the writer's barely disguised fetish, but I guess it's the programmer's barely disguised fetish? I don't even know. At that moment, the forces of Ganymede, led by Emperor Victor and General Maelstrom, landed on Venus and made their way to the Imperial Court, asking them for assistance against the Nazis. "We appreciate your concern, Your Majesty," said the Empress, "but we should not interfere with the affairs of another country." "But our people are being killed," cried out the Emperor. "They have already lost countless lives during their conquest of Jupiter and Ganymede. If they are so eager to die again, then let them do so in their own land," replied the Empress. Victor and Maelstrom were disappointed, but just then, Victor got an idea. Now, guys, you gotta listen, okay? I have some really good advice for you. Whenever you're in a political conflict of any kind, the answer is always arranged marriage. And this generator damn well knows that. "Perhaps I will offer you my hand in marriage, Empress Dowager," he suggested. "The combined might of Ganymede and Venus would lead to prosperity and progress for all our people. I offer this in exchange for your help against the Nazis." The Empress turned pale at his proposal, but she knew she could never refuse him. She saw no choice but to accept. Emperor Victor, you know, he's got that riz. It's just part of his character, you know? "Very well," she said. "Thank you," said Victor. With that, the two sides agreed to join forces. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Luxemburger, has gathered a meeting between the leaders of the last bastions of freedom in the world. This meeting consists of Berger, Russian President Nikolai Sabatov, Admiral Halsey, and General Almeida. They debate on what the best strategy to defeat the Nazis will be. "If we attack the Nazis head-on, they'll surely win," said Berger. "Then we must find a way to weaken their army," suggested Halsey. "I think I know how," said Almeida. "I have a plan that may work. I'm going to send the troops of Luxembourg and Russia to ambush the Nazis near Mars. Meanwhile, we must prepare ourselves here on Earth." "Do you really think this is the right course of action?" asked Sabatov. "Yes. The Nazis are putting a lot of effort into conquering Mars, which means they're expecting us to try and stop them there. But if we do, then their focus will be diverted from Earth. We can attack them here instead." "That sounds like a good plan to me," said Almeida. "And that's funny because he's responding to his own plan!" "Then let us begin planning immediately," said Sabatov. On Ganymede, the war continues to rage. The Luftwaffe attempts to bomb the forces of Emperor Victor and General Maelstrom, but since the Luftwaffe is terrible, this attempt fails and the forces of Ganymede stand strong. Meanwhile, the forces of Venus have successfully captured Berlin, and the Nazi flag has been lowered over the Reichstag. You can just tell how amazing this AI is at simulating wars because the very first thing that happens is the capital of the enemy country gets taken instantly. Also, very consistent with real life how the Luftwaffe is trash, you know? They're basically flying toilets, but actually no, that would be an insult to flying toilets. Good job, everyone, said President Sabatov. What shall we do next? The freedom fighters quickly realized that just because Berlin has been captured does not mean the Nazis have been defeated. Their capital switches to Hamburg. We must take the fight to where they are weakest, shouted Maelstrom. The other members of the resistance agree. So what exactly are you proposing we do? Asked Sabatov. We need to capture their factories on Earth and Mars, declared Maelstrom. You mean the factories that produce the weapons and machines they use to conquer other planets? The factories that build the factories that produce the weapons and machines they use to conquer other planets? Asked Sabatov. Yes, that's precisely what I'm saying, said Maelstrom. Sabatov sighs in exasperation. Why don't we just destroy those factories ourselves? Because taking them back from the Nazis would be too easy, replied Maelstrom. Genius. Absolute practical genius right here. Just amazing planning. Also, I like how he says up here that they should capture the factories, and then down here says no, because that would be too easy. Like, consistent plan you got there, buddy. And why is that? Asks Sabatov. Maelstrom turns away from him and looks off into space, deep in thought. How about this, said President Sabatov. Instead of trying to take back Earth and Mars, how about we focus on defending Jupiter and Ganymede? If we keep their attention focused on those two planets, they won't have time to worry about Earth. That would be ideal, said Maelstrom. But unfortunately, the Nazis have managed to seize control of the moon of Jupiter. Which one? There's like 70, right? President Sabatov groans. Well, that's just great. So what should we do about that? We must defend it, said Maelstrom. Halsey points out that Hitler is the main unifying figure of the German Reich, and that if he is assassinated, a massive blow will be dealt to the Nazis. But Maelstrom doesn't see that as a possibility. Hitler has absolute power over the Nazis, he explains. He could assassinate any of us who tried to kill him. That's when Prime Minister Berger of Luxembourg reveals that he has contacts with a German resistance group who seeks to restore the German Republic and oust the Nazis. This resistance group is led by none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. While he was in fact born in Austria, he is still determined to reclaim Germany from the Nazis. He had contacted Berger after seeing how the Germans had fallen to the Nazis in the 1940s. I feel like the timeline's a little bit off there, wasn't it like a whole decade earlier? Also, was Arnold even born back then? I don't know. Berger realized that this man was someone he needed to be friends with. Arnold Schwarzenegger? Really? Asked Halsey. Isn't he a total wimp? Oh, she's never watched an Arnold film in her life, has she? Not at all, replied Berger. He's a tough fighter. And he's also an actor, so I've seen him fight in films. The rest of the resistance agrees with Berger. The forces of Luxembourg team up with the German resistance to deal blows to the Nazis at their own home base. Meanwhile, the remaining forces of Earth, Ganymede, and Venus travel to Jupiter to strike at the Nazis there. General Almeida is leading the forces of Earth. Since the Nazis control the moon of Jupiter, they are able to launch attacks at Earth, while staying safe behind their own shield. The forces of Earth are unable to counterattack against the Nazis on Jupiter so far. However, the technology of Venus is far superior, and thanks to their reinforcements, they are able to deal damage to the Nazis and prepare for a reconquest of Jupiter. Let's attack now, shouted General Almeida. Don't do it, General, said Maelstrom. The Nazis have the advantage on Jupiter. You must wait until we can support you. But the Nazis are attacking Earth too, said Almeida. Maelstrom points out that the Germans on Earth have to stay on Earth because they get caught by the Allied forces if they tried to leave. What? What? No, what? They control like half the solar system, what do you mean? Meanwhile, the Germans on Jupiter have nowhere left to run. We must strike back against the Nazis at the source of their strength, said Almeida. Maelstrom gives in. Very well, General. Do as you wish. Almeida deploys his forces on the surface of Jupiter and begins to attack the Nazis. Meanwhile, Princess Diana, in orbit above Jupiter, uses her powers to make sure the fleet stays hidden from radar. Yep, Princess Diana canonically has powers. Real. That is just a taste of how insane novel AI can be. The Nazis are caught completely off guard. Almeida's forces have the immediate advantage. Quickly, Victor and Maelstrom send reinforcements. We're working on it, shouted Almeida. Meanwhile, the forces of Earth are doing much better than expected. They're slowly pushing the Nazis back and gaining ground. This isn't looking too bad, remarked General Almeida. Arnold Schwarzenegger single-handedly takes down an entire fortress of Nazi troops, recreating the climax of his movie Commando in real life. It is not a time to celebrate yet, said Maelstrom. The Nazis are still stronger than us. We're making progress though, said Almeida, and I'm getting pretty tired of this whole losing thing. Oh my god, they've got Almeida making Marvel quips! No! Halsey reminds Almeida of his upcoming boxing match with Hitler and the secret move that could destroy his arm. Almeida claims he's still going to use it, but it might kill him in the process since it will speed up his terminal ligma. Halsey asks him to wait until after the fight to use it. As the battle continues, the Nazis begin to fall apart. More and more people on Earth are rising up against the Nazis, and the sheer overwhelming might of the Allies is too much for them. Eventually, the Nazi leadership is forced to retreat from Earth. After losing control of Earth, the Nazis turn their gaze back toward Jupiter. They believe they can retake the planet and win the war if they can just recapture it. However, even after their initial defeats, the forces of Venus continue to push forward, and the forces of Earth continue to hold the line. The Nazis are defeated once again, and retreat back to Earth and Mars. What? So they get kicked off Earth, then they fail to retake Jupiter, and then they just go back to Earth? How is that possible? They don't own Earth anymore. I guess their only base left is Mars. With the Nazis having retreated from Jupiter, it and all of its moons fall under control of the Empire of Ganymede. Emperor Victor, satisfied, makes arrangements with General Maelstrom to step down from absolute power and become only a ceremonial figure. The Empire of Ganymede officially becomes the Republic of Ganymede, and Maelstrom is elected by the people as its first president. The Nazi regime is completely falling apart everywhere, and its last fortress is in Hamburg, where Hitler resides. The time has almost come for the final boxing match between Hitler and Almeida. As Halsey watches the news on TV, because apparently she needs to do that, even though she's part of the war effort, she sees the news report of a bombing raid on the Reichstag. Then she hears the voice of Adolf Hitler. "I am still in power," he declares. That's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my god. Just the robotic way he says it. "Not for long," Halsey mutters to herself as she gets up, picks up a gun, and heads over to join the fight to defeat the Nazis for good. Oh my god, it's so funny. Help. Arnold Schwarzenegger and the German rebels, aided by the forces of Luxembourg, Russia, and all the other freedom fighters from various countries, surround Hamburg and prepare for the final battle. No, I did not misspell fighters. No, sir. No, I would never do that. I can't believe you would suggest that. Never in my life. All right, this is it, shouted Schwarzenegger. "We're going to take down the Nazis once and for all. Let's go." "Right behind you," said Halsey, following him into the fray. I said that like Spy TF2 from Meet the Spy. The Nazis inside the city are taken completely by surprise. Their defenses are weak and easily broken through. With some help from Princess Diana, Arnold Schwarzenegger is able to sneak into Hitler's headquarters and find him hiding in a secret underground bunker. Here is my favorite part, the exposition I came up with on the spot, randomly. It turns out there's a time machine in Hitler's bunker. Hitler explains that the way he and the Nazis came back in the first place was because he time traveled from the 1940s to the modern day using this machine. He then had a clone of his fake his death. Arnold Schwarzenegger beats Hitler nearly to death after hearing this explanation, but Hitler uses his secret weapon, the Nazi gravity beam, to propel Schwarzenegger out of the bunker. It's up to the resistance to stop Hitler from using the time machine again and carrying on the cycle of defeat and return. This is it, guys. This is it. The final battle. This is what we've all been waiting for. "Damn it!" shouted Arnold. "Where did he go?" Halsey pulls a lever in the time machine, causing it to explode. The gravity beam is destroyed and the Nazis are trapped in the bunker forever. Whoa! Let's go! Let's go! However, it is not over yet. The time has finally come for General Almeida to challenge Hitler to a final boxing match, where he will use his secret move to destroy Hitler's arm. Almeida challenges Hitler to the match once and for all. "How dare you challenge me?" bellowed Hitler, infuriated. "I am the Führer. I cannot lose to anyone." "Oh, really?" asked Almeida. "Then why are you afraid?" "Because it will kill me!" screamed Hitler. "I will die!" That's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my god. How did the AI come up with that? Remind me to use this joke in the future. "Too bad," said Almeida, "but you'll have plenty of time to think about it before the end." Millions of people, including Halsey, Victor, Maelstrom, Sabatov, Schwarzenegger, Berger, and Empress Dowager of Venus, watch live as the boxing match begins. Almeida is determined to win at all costs. He does not want the Nazis to win one more round. At last, it comes down to the final punch. Almeida fires a deadly punch at Hitler. This destroys Hitler's arm, causing him to bleed out and die as he wails in pain. Almeida, however, is now succumbing to his terminal ligma, and the resistance leaders join him on his deathbed. "Thank you, Almeida," said Maelstrom. "And thank you, everyone else," replied Almeida. Victor, Maelstrom, Sabatov, Schwarzenegger, and Halsey stand together. Almeida passes away from the ligma, but the universe has been saved. The United Nations is re-established, and the Republic of Ganymede and Venus are now both prosperous following the marriage of Emperor Victor and Empress Dowager, who actually did fall in love. The Nazis have fallen to defeat, and the world can finally breathe a sigh of relief. 1 second, let me just charge it up. So that's the story of the Resistance, said Halsey many years later, telling the tale to Almeida's 2 children, one born from his wife Elena and one born from Princess Diana. Yes, it is indeed canon to the Space Nazis lore that Princess Diana and Almeida had a child. Check out my second video for more information. The children have never met their father, but they have been told many times of his courage and sacrifice. The United States, which is still investigating Mars for some reason, finally finds the rotted corpse of Elon Musk, decades after he was initially killed by the Martian robots. What was that? Asked Almeida's son, hearing this on the news. I don't know, replied Halsey. Probably nothing important. Yeah, said his daughter. I guess not. And with that, the story of the Space Nazis finally ended. I gotta say, it's emotional. It's emotional to finally be at the end after all this time. It's really something. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this grand Shakespearean epic. This masterful tale. Nothing will ever replace it. Nothing. This must win the 2024 Oscars, mark my words. If it does, it will be the best Oscars win since, the Oscars in 2023, because Everything Everywhere All at Once was amazing. But, it will still be really good. So I want everyone to go onto social media right now and spam the Oscars and tell them that the Space Nazis story needs to be nominated and win. Mark my words. Okay, obviously I'm joking. Don't actually do that. Please don't. You're an idiot if you do. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a hilarious series to record, a hilarious story to write. Well, I guess I didn't really write it because the AI helped me with a lot, but you know, I wrote part of it. That counts, right? I had an incredible amount of fun, and I'm glad you guys stuck with me the whole time, and I will be making a movie of all 3 of these parts combined into one, so stay tuned. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my later content once it drops, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!